I enjoy where we are and all that, but I enjoy where we are and
Live from Columbia, this is Sports Talk on the South Carolina Radio Network. Be a part of tonight's show. Call us at 800-956-7266 or email talkback@sportstalksc.com. Now, here are your hosts for Sports Talk, Phil Kornbluth, Kevin McCrary, and Tom Hayes.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome into Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network from downtown Columbia. Here on a Thursday night. Hope you had a great day. Everybody should be happy in the state of South Carolina. Gamecocks and Tigers alike. This is a good day. You should feel very good about your respective football situations. Brandon McElwain is coming to South Carolina in January. He announced that today. So the Gamecocks have, hopefully for them, a quarterback who can lead them to great things based on his high school career, based on the analysis of the experts, based on the offers by the recruiters, based on the way the kid handles himself. This kid's too good to fail. This kid's too good to fail. I think South Carolina has their Deshaun Watson coming in. And Clemson, my goodness. Commitment last night from Chase Bryce, just like Hunter Johnson, a nationally ranked top 10 2017 quarterback from Loganville, Georgia. After seeing Hunter Johnson do his thing, he decided, hey, I better do my thing. And so the Tigers now have two quarterbacks in the 2017 class committed, both ranked in the top 10 nationally. So it's been a great week for both. So my point is everybody should be happy. So let's share that happiness on Sports Talk, 800-956-7266. Email talkback@sportstalksc.com and on Twitter @sportstalksc. Basketball game tomorrow night. You wouldn't know it. I don't know why, but neither school has gone out of its way to promote this game by getting their coaches out there. Now, I think Frank Martin has his radio show tonight, so coincidentally that will come the night before the game. But as far as the coaches being available for media outside their own organizations, hasn't been there. Tried to get Coach Brownell tonight, but he's tied up with some stuff with his family and his basketball team. Understandable, but could get nothing done there. Frank Martin didn't meet with the media before the Drexel game, but there was no news conference today to promote or talk about the Clemson matchup. And it's hard to talk about the second game down the line when you have a game coming up the next night. Coaches don't like to talk over a game. So if they want this game to be big and to capture the imagination of the fans in the state, they need to promote it a little bit. We've tried to talk it up this week, and maybe we'll get some conversation going on it tonight. I mean, you do have a 9-0 South Carolina team off to its best start in 35 years against a Clemson team that, they've got a couple of dents on the schedule, but those were close losses. And they have a good team, and it's at their place, kind of, up in Greenville. But I imagine there'll be a pretty good number of Gamecock fans there as well. Should be a heck of a game. We'll be there tomorrow night, and we'll be right back. All right, flying solo tonight, except for Eric Ramirez behind the bulletproof glass. No Pro, no K-Mac. And Pro will be back tomorrow night here. K-Mac is supposed to join me in Greenville for the basketball game tomorrow night. Hopefully he'll be able to get away. Daughter has really been fighting this pneumonia and all that kind of stuff, so they've been busy with her. And hopefully she's feeling better, and he'll be able to join us tomorrow night. So, South Carolina, Brandon McElwain. A marriage now in place because he is bypassing the baseball draft by virtue of enrolling at South Carolina in January. That means he'll be a USC quarterback and outfielder for 3 years at the least. And what do you think? I mean, I know he'll be a freshman next year, and I'm always leery of freshman quarterbacks. They can do some great things, but they also make a lot of mistakes, but you live with them. You live with the interceptions. You live with bad reads, things of that nature, and you let them grow. Now, is it fair to say he's better than anybody on South Carolina's roster right now? I don't know. That would be kind of unfair to say because obviously these guys who are here have played against SEC competition, and he's played against high school competition in Pennsylvania. Big difference. He has distinguished himself individually by being an Elite 11 quarterback last summer. And so he was considered to be among the best in the country last year. And he went out this year and had a great year, running and throwing. He's the Gatorade Player of the Year in Pennsylvania. So he distinguished himself that way as well. He will have a chance this spring to come in and compete right away. And you'll see it'll take him some time to learn the offense, but the spread that they're running at South Carolina with Kurt Roper is similar to what he ran in high school. And with his arm strength and with his maneuverability, he could be the answer. He's not the tallest of quarterbacks. That might be the little bit of a negative, but sometimes that's overrated. You know, you can see some NFL quarterbacks who aren't that tall who've done extremely well in their careers. So I think this is a great day for Will Muschamp. They've had a great week, and that returns some real positive mojo to the USC football program. To bring it back down to earth, there's bad news. Shameik Blackshear, the freshman defensive end, was shot multiple times last night at that apartment complex on Catawba Street near the baseball stadium. A source told the state newspaper that Blackshear was shot in the upper and lower body outside one of the apartment buildings. The police did not identify him by name, and the paper writes the victim of the shooting was in serious condition, but a source told the state that Blackshear is expected to be okay. Columbia police officials said the shooting occurred at the club at Carolina Stadium. That's just across the street from Founders Park. Happened about 9:30 last night. Columbia police collected forensic evidence and talked with people at the scene following the shooting. Officials said investigators are working to determine the motive while attempting to identify a suspect or suspects. Okay? So we will withhold judgment until we find out more details in this case. Could have been anything. We don't know. But we'll wait for the police to do their work, and we'll find out what the story is there. But obviously the number one concern is his health and the fact that he was shot multiple times, upper and lower body. That's not good. Serious condition. That's not good, but source telling the state that he is expected to be okay. Very scary situation there. USC tight end Jarrell Adams will play in the Senior Bowl. That game was January 30th in Mobile, Alabama. He'll get a chance to make an impression in front of the NFL scouts. Marcus Lattimore is joining the USC staff. The state reporting, a source close to Lattimore, confirming that he will be a part of the staff, not on the field, but he'll work in a role similar to what he does in his leadership academies through his foundation. He's going to be more of a inspirational guy amongst the players, a guy that they can go to talk to, and maybe kind of be a somebody that they can share their problems with, sit down and have a talk with, that kind of thing, I would imagine. But he's not going to be a recruiter. He's not going to be a position coach or anything like that, according to this story. This is a job that Lattimore was offered by Muschamp before he took the job officially. Lattimore is getting married to his high school sweetheart on Saturday. So congratulations, Marcus, on that. And he's also going to be graduating in May of 2016. It's after that he can join the staff. All right, what else? Kyler Murray is leaving Texas A&M. He will transfer, according to multiple reports. An elite quarterback, also a big-time baseball player. He went to Texas A&M, where he was slated to play both football and baseball. And he appeared in 9 games in football this fall. Of course, you saw what he did against South Carolina in particular. He's a shortstop in baseball. And apparently he had a falling out with the coaching staff and will never play baseball at Texas A&M. Next stop is not known. Not known if he'll transfer to another D1 school or maybe go junior college to play baseball and then make himself available for the draft. So another talented quarterback, Kyle Allen goes. Now Kyler Murray goes from Texas A&M. And the Buzzards will be circling over Kyle Field in College Station this coming season. We'll see what Kevin Sumlin and company can come up with at quarterback there. Maybe they can borrow one from Clemson. They've got plenty of them. You know somebody's going to be getting out of the Clemson program, I would think, probably Tucker Israel, a guy who only broke Tim Tebow's passing records in the state of Florida. There's no place for him to play at Clemson because we all know that backup quarterback is Kelly Bryant now. If something were to happen to Deshaun Watson, Kelly Bryant would be the guy. Schussler is there as the number 3 guy. You've got a highly touted quarterback coming in the 2016 class from Florida in Zarek Cooper. I mean, he's a very highly rated quarterback. And now you've already got 2 studs committed for 2017. Plenty in the cupboard at quarterback at Clemson. We'll hear from Dabo Swinney. We didn't get to it last night. It got to us late. We didn't get a chance to get to it. We'll play you some of what he has to say. And also, we've got Brent Venables in from tonight as well. We'll try to get some of that to you, too. Efforting to get Brandon McElwain on the program as well. We'll keep working on that to see if we can get him on the show tonight to talk about his decision, too. And a full recap of recruiting coming up as well. 800-956-7266. So how's everybody feeling about that? And what about the basketball game tomorrow night? How do you see it playing out? South Carolina's got the better record. They've looked really good for the most part, but Clemson does some things that can hurt South Carolina. South Carolina has got to, even though they've out-rebounded most of their opponents by a pretty wide margin this season so far, there's been times where their big guys have not been very aggressive on the boards, and they're going to face a couple of aggressive inside guys with Noko and Jite tomorrow night for Clemson, a couple of guys that can pound it, get them extra shots. And if Blossom Game and Grantham in particular are shooting it well from the outside, they can give South Carolina fits. Then again, I don't know that Clemson has anything for Dozier, who's really starting to play at a high level. Thornwell, Notice coming off the bench. They come in with the freshman Silva. I think South Carolina overall has the better team and probably has too many weapons for Clemson. But it's all about execution and doing the things, if you're South Carolina, that has gotten you to 9-0. And my math was wrong. It's 2 nights in a row that I have made horrendous mistakes talking about South Carolina basketball history. I am not going to talk about South Carolina basketball history anymore because I can't get it right. Even E-Dog. Isn't that what we used to call you? E-Dog? No. That's Everett German down in Charleston. What was our nickname for you back in the day? Eric, we had a nickname for you. What was it? I forgot. It's been so long. Got to figure out. Yeah, you don't know. Yeah, okay. I'll remember it. Anyway, he corrected me saying it's 40-something years, right? 1970, be 45 years. 45 years since the Gamecocks were last 9-0. Of course, that time back in 1970, they lost to North Carolina when they tried to get to 10-0. I do remember that. Back in a moment. right, back we are. It's Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network, a service of Farm Bureau Insurance. With new auto insurance rates from Farm Bureau Insurance, you could be saving a whole lot of money, even if you've received a quote before. Rates are now more competitive than ever. Get a free quote today from your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. 800-956-7266, the number, if you'd like to join us tonight. Pretty exciting day, pretty exciting week for USC and Clemson. Tomorrow night, Will Muschamp will join us here on Sports Talk, and we'll talk to him about his I guess it's been now almost a couple of weeks since he took over as South Carolina's head football coach. It's been a very active time. He spent the first week on the road, handing out offers, shaking hands, meeting people, breaking new ground with folks for his program. Then this week he has sat back and he's seen things kind of fall in place because got Brian Edwards back in the fold, took Sedarius Hutcherson into the program, kept C.J. Freeman on the committed list, and is getting his quarterback to come into school early to begin his career. All that is good. I'm not sure he could really ask for anything more out of an opening week. There's really been, except for the Blackshear shooting, I'm sure that's got to be extremely disappointing to him. Outside of that, it's been nothing but positives for South Carolina since Muschamp took over. He's been very, very active on social media. And so you just see what's happening there, the makeover of the program to try to catch up with what others have been doing for really the past few years, starting with their head coaches. And that's where it starts. It starts with the head coaches. The head coach sets the tone for everybody. And, of course, he's been able to add to his coaching staff. He's got about half of it done. He still has to address some defensive things. He's got to address his linebackers position. He's got to address his defensive front position. You know, it's he and Brad Lawing are very good friends, and you would have thought that they maybe could get something done to get Lawing to come back to South Carolina, but I don't think, from what I'm hearing, I don't think that's going to be able to happen for whatever reason you want to blame it on. I'm not sure. You know, my guess, this is just me, I think Brad would come back if a deal was put in place for him. He still has a home in Columbia. He has family here in Columbia. I still think he considers South Carolina to be his school, his number one school. But, you know, some things were said, and I don't know what's fact or fiction out there, but some things were spread out there about him, unfortunately, by people who were close to him and close to the program, some of the so-called insiders that really damaged his reputation. You know, justified or not, I don't know. But it's a real shame. I mean, the guy went down to Florida, got a big raise and a title. They didn't seem to have a problem. Then he got hired at Florida State for big money and a solid position. They didn't seem to have a problem. And those programs are better than South Carolina, so I don't know. But it's a shit that they can't get together on some kind of a deal to bring him back. Okay, we're back. Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network, 800-956-7266 is our phone number. Email talkback at sportstalksc.com. On Twitter at sportstalksc. We thank all of you who have jumped on to follow us on Twitter. The website is sportstalksc.com. And on Facebook, Sports Talk Radio Network. That's how you can keep up with us. And we thank you very much for being a part of what we do here at Sports Talk. We do not take it for granted whatsoever. There's an NFL game tonight, Thursday Night Football, and it is going to be the Buccaneers against the Rams. Always have to stop and pause. St. Louis is not the Cardinals anymore. The Rams, Tampa Bay and the Rams, not a particularly enticing matchup. They'll kick it off at 8:25. We've got a game on Saturday this weekend, the Jets and Dallas, Saturday night at 8:25. So a little appetizer before we get to the main menu on Sunday afternoon. The NFL season, of course, starting to wind down with the regular season. So we'll see if the Panthers can keep it going, trying to go to 14-0 this week up against the Giants. You know, the Giants would love nothing more than to end that streak. But the Panthers are for real. You cannot just look at them and say this is an accident. They haven't lost a regular season game since, last October, I think it is. Something like, 17 in a row they're working on? October, December, November maybe? Way back into last year was the last time that they lost a game. So good luck to Mick Mixon and his guys up in New York this weekend. 800-956-7266 is the number. Clemson practicing again today. Now, last night they worked out, and we did not get our Dabo Swinney interview in time to get it to you last night. So to bring you up to date on what the Tigers head coach is thinking about, we're going to let you hear what he had to say after practice last night. Now, and after talking about some of the seniors graduating and talking about some of the freshmen who made freshman All-American, Dabo was asked about the fact that his team is 13-0 and he's having a great year, a year to cherish and a year to really savor. And he was asked if he's had a chance to really take it all in at this point.
I mean, I enjoy where we are and all that, but there's just so much work to be done. You know, my mind is on what we got to do to finish. You know, that's what my mind's on is what I got to get done at work today. You know, what we got to do for the staff, what we got in the practices, and just there's just a lot going on right now. And that's where my mind is, recruiting. You know, we want to stay a good team. And so we've got to continue to recruit the right, not just good players, but the right kind of players. And so it's just always, work. But, you know, when it's all said and done, then hey, we'll take some time to enjoy it. I certainly took some time last week. You know, I had a little bit of time coming off that championship game, and that's what I tried to stress to our guys is, you know, we're always talking about what's next. Okay, we won the ACC championship. Okay, let's go win the national championship. Let's win the playoff. You know, and if you're not careful, you don't enjoy the journey. And so I tried to really stress that to guys a little bit. Is okay, hey, we got a lot of work to do. We know we got to go back to work, but let's enjoy being this ACC championship. Let's enjoy being 13-0. Let's really understand how hard it is to accomplish what we've done. So yeah, I've taken a little time to do that, but once I got back here, it's Oklahoma. It's preparing the team. It's just everything we got to do to finish the very best we can. And you know, hopefully we can win this one and get a chance to go play a 15th game and for all the marbles. If it doesn't work out our way, then we'll finish 13-1 and you know, celebrate this team either way. It's a great year, great team, but man, you want to win them all, you know, and so that's all our focus is right now. But I'm proud of our team and you know what they've been able to accomplish.
From the early part of the year, how much did you and the staff have to drill into Tankersley? Like, hey, with McKenzie's reputation, you're going to be the guy that they're going to be coming after a good bit.
Oh, he knew that. I mean, he knew that. We didn't really have to drill that into him a whole lot. I mean, he knew that, especially after the first couple of games, that they were going to come after him. But what a year he's had, you know. I mean, he's had a great year. He's gotten better and better and better. You know, still got a lot of upside, a lot of improving to do. But shoot, he's been tremendous all year. There's been a few competitive plays made on him, really good throws right in the right spot, but that's the ball. But he's been as consistent a player as we've had on that defense all year.
If McKenzie were to decide to move on to the NFL, does Tankersley have the skill set to possibly step up and be a true national lockdown?
He's already doing that. Yeah, I mean he's already. He's made a ton of plays, huge plays for us. He's a physical guy, and he's very confident because of the experience he has now and the success that he's had. But yeah, I mean he's just as good as McKenzie. I mean he's a great player. There's no question about it.
He's made some great catches, like the one he made against North Carolina.
Unbelievable.
Is that something that you've seen really develop, or is he always had pretty good hands?
Well, he played a lot of offense in high school. He played quarterback and a little bit of everything, but he's always kind of had good ball skills. It's never really been a problem with him. But that play he made in the championship game was unbelievable. I mean, that you got wideouts probably don't go make that play. That was a great play on the ball and a very difficult catch. But like I said, he's a ball player and confident and just getting better.
Through a few days, any separation at right guard?
No. That'll go all the way till we get ready to play. But we're rolling Crowder and Maverick and Norton. Norton's got a lot of guard too, and we'll just keep playing them. One of them will run out there first, but they're all gonna play. So, but we hadn't decided that yet.
Playing Oklahoma in a bowl game again. You got a lot of years between playing and coaching under your belt. Can you remember another time where you come off beating a team that badly and then you're playing in a bigger game the year after, maybe something you can relate to?
North Carolina. I mean, we killed them pretty good last year, and then we got playing for the championship. So that's probably the first thing that jumps in my mind would be North Carolina. Outside of that, there's a lot of teams that you play that you beat the year before, but it really doesn't have anything to do. They're all big. I mean, the next year it's a huge game, so you just want to count it and try to win. But people ask me about last year's game. It really just has nothing to do with this year, other than you maybe have a little bit of a feel for the personnel because you've actually seen a team. A lot of times when you play teams that you don't ever see, you don't really have a true gauge of their true size and all that stuff until you see them in person. So same thing for them. I mean, we both have that knowledge of each other, but the game is about these 4 quarters, and if they'll turn it over 5 times again, then that would be a beautiful thing if we can hold on to it. But I don't think you can go into the game depending on that. This is 2 teams good enough to win the national championship. They're going to battle it out, and it's going to come down to 4 or 5 plays, and hopefully we're the team that makes them.
You mentioned B.J. Goodson as a guy who's graduating. How proud are you of the way that he's developed as a senior?
Yeah, I was just telling his mom that this morning at the brunch that I had to go to. It's exactly what I was telling her. I was like, that's why you coach. I mean, at least that's why I got into coaching is, because that's what my coaches did for me. Just helped me, and I know that they took pride in seeing a transformation in me. And that's what I do as a coach. I love seeing those guys just grow up and figure it out. And here's a guy I told his mom, I said, remember when I was sitting at your kitchen table there in Lamar, South Carolina, and we were talking about BJ and his future and possibilities and all these things. And here he is now. He's a Clemson graduate, and he is a grown man. I mean, BJ Goodson he's ready for whatever he wants to do in life. I mean, he is just mature and focused and driven and committed and a disciplined person. So, I mean, I just am so proud of him. And again, that's what it's all about.
All right, Dabo Swinney, good stuff from him talking about his team and his approach to this season so far and getting ready for Oklahoma. Back in a moment.
I think that a little bit of time off.
Back on Sports Talk, presented by Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 college savings plan. Future Scholar is the smart and easy way to save for a loved one's future college costs. And the holidays are a perfect time to invest. Visit futurescholar.com for more information. Future Scholar, administered by the Office of State Treasurer Curtis Loftus. Yes! I did it right. I did not stumble one time. Thank you, Mr. Loftus. Sure you appreciate that. 800-956-7266 is the phone number. Going to do recruiting here in just a moment. Wanted to find a tweet here that I just saw about Clemson having consensus All-Americans, and I believe it would be, if I could find the tweet, Deshaun Watson and Shaq Lawson for sure. Let's see if I can find that tweet real quick. It was from one of the writers from Anderson. You know, consensus All-American, you have to make combination of 4 or 5 different All-American teams to be consensus All-American, like the AP team, Sports Illustrated, football writers. Those are some of them. Now I can't find it. I just saw it. Oh, shoot. I'll keep looking during the break and see if I can find it. But, yeah, I think Clemson's got a couple of guys who qualify under the heading of a consensus All-American. I'll pass that along as soon as I can get my hands on it. In the meantime, Missouri has hired Josh Heupel as its offensive coordinator as they remake their staff there and try and find somebody who can get the offense going. He's former Utah State offensive coordinator and quarterback and assistant coach at Oklahoma. He'll coach the quarterbacks at Mizzou. And, of course, you know, he inherits I guess Matty Mock is gone, isn't he? Did they boot him? Didn't they eventually boot him from the team? And so he's got the young guy coming back who started in South Carolina and looked like a Heisman Trophy candidate. How many different quarterbacks over the last couple of years look like Heisman Trophy candidates against the Gamecock defense for one reason or another, huh?
All of them.
Yeah. So he inherits a pretty good young quarterback who was a freshman this past season. So that'll be someone to build around. And let's face it, folks. Let's face it. And I'm no football guru for saying this. I think if you follow the game today, you know it as well as I do. And it's eventually it's sort of making its way through the NFL too, but not quite as much as in college or high school. And that is quarterback. If you don't have a good quarterback, you don't have a chance unless you decide to line up and try and play power football and rely on your offensive line and your running backs and try to block people and knock people off the ball. If you're big, strong, and powerful and can do that and just have a quarterback to just manage the game and occasionally throw the ball and throw safe passes, you might be able to do some damage if you have the personnel up front. But most teams, they don't have that. They run the spread. And if you don't have that trigger man anymore who not only can throw it on time and online and on a dime, and also run when necessary, then you don't have a chance. And you can look around the SEC, for example, and just see the teams that have struggled here recently. And it comes back really to one thing. I mean, they've got more problems than just quarterback. The bad teams do. South Carolina had more problems than just quarterback, but it didn't help that they were in the situation at quarterback they were in. Look at Missouri and their quarterback situation, how they went from back-to-back SEC East winners to cellar dwellers, like USC did. Look at Florida's issues. You know, even under Muschamp, he won 11 games because he had a healthy Jeff Driscoll and a tremendous defense. Then he loses Driscoll in the third game of the next year to an injury, to a broken ankle early the next year. And things start going downhill from there. And they never could get the offense. Plus, he went through how many different offensive coordinators? He started out his first year with Charlie Weiss. He left, went to Kansas. He brought in Brett Peace. He was there for maybe 2 years. And then he had Kurt Roper come in. So he had three offensive coordinators. Well, three offensive coordinators there in 4 years. That's not good. So now you have to think at South Carolina, talking about Muschamp, that if it's McElwain, let's say, going in and being as good as he is supposed to be, and Roper is there from the outset and is with him for 2 or 3 years or so, you could see this offense start to take off because they do have some good skilled people already in the program. I mean, I think that Deebo Samuel has got a chance to be an excellent receiver. Some of the young receivers who didn't get a chance to play much this year should develop and become good players. And then you bring in a guy like, let's say, Brian Edwards, for example. There's no reason to think he can't be an outstanding receiver for him. I'll give you recruiting after the break. found that tweet, and it was Deshaun and Shaq, consensus All-Americans from Clemson. Congratulations to them. All right, recruiting, of course, the news. McElwain will enroll in January at USC. That's a big boost for the Gamecocks to play football and baseball. Locks him in for at least 3 years in those two sports at USC. And hopefully we'll have him on the program tonight. If not, maybe tomorrow. We'll do our best to try to get him on. Now, Clemson last night gets another quarterback commitment in Chase Bryce, 2017 signal caller, 6'3", 200 out of Loganville, Georgia. And very highly touted quarterback, a very accomplished quarterback, plays for a big-time program. His high school coach, Dabo Sweeney's college roommate on the road and teammate at Alabama, so they're very good friends. And this season he threw for 2,436 yards and 28 touchdowns with 8 interceptions. And he said last night that he's really known since a little before the Notre Dame game when he visited that that's what he wanted. He said it was just the right place for him to be, the right people for him to be around. The offense just fits him well. He didn't want to wait any longer. He's not afraid of the competition that he'll face there as well. His coach says that he's got a great release, a very strong arm. He's mobile in the pocket, sees the field well, gets the ball out quick, and can run. Tigers have 4 commitments now for 2017. You'd have to say they have the number 1 class for 2017 right now, considering that they've got some mega talent in that class already. Defensive end Rashawn Smith of Baltimore left IMG Academy yesterday after taking his last exam and believed to be heading home to Baltimore, according to his coach. And now he'll turn his attention to making his decision. Mid-year enrollee, former Clemson commitment, is going to announce at the Under Armour game. He took officials to Oregon, LSU, Auburn, Maryland, and last weekend to Clemson. His coach, Kevin Wright, told us it seemed like everything went well on the visit. He said that's been the vibe, that he had a good visit. Smith hasn't said anything to anybody about the visit. His coach said that deep down he thinks he's got a pretty good idea of where he wants to go since he is a mid-year guy. He just wants to make sure he's making the right decision. Relationships are big with him, he said, and relationships with some of these coaches go back a year or 2. Maryland could be a strong factor here, too. He met with the new coach, DJ Durkin, on his official visit there, and his mentor from his youth, Corey Robinson, is part of that new staff. USC offered defensive end Tyreek Martin of Valley, Alabama today. He's a Missouri commitment. 2017 quarterback Jackson Williamson of Westside was offered by Troy. Linebacker Lamar of Roswell, Georgia, signed his financial aid papers with Clemson. USC target defensive back Daniel Thomas, Montgomery, Alabama, was offered by Georgia Tech. USC offered 2016 running back Rico Dowdle of Asheville, 6'1", 190, a late addition to the Shrine Bowl. He rushed for 2,545 yards and 51 touchdowns this season. And we've got some more recruiting notes to give you after the top of the hour break.
Live from Columbia, this is Sports Talk on the South Carolina Radio Network. Be a part of tonight's show. Call us at 800-956-7266 or email talkback@sportstalksc.com. Now, here are your hosts for Sports Talk, Phil Kornbluth, Kevin McCrary, and Tom Hayes.
All right, back with you, Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network. Glad you're with us. Keep in mind, if you ever lose us over the airwaves, you can always get our audio feed on our website and the video feed as well at the bottom of the page. You can watch us there. We invite you to do that. And, of course, we are streamed via our stations, iHeartRadio, our Greenville affiliate, our Myrtle Beach affiliate, and on the TuneIn app, our Columbia affiliate, the Point Radio. So there's no reason for you not to stay with us should you lose us over the airwaves for whatever reason. Time to finish up the recruiting report for tonight.
Are you blaming me for something?
No, sir. No, sir. I'm talking about when we lose people over the air for whatever reason, not because you make a technical mistake. You know,
just making sure.
That wouldn't be – you haven't been here long enough to you're not going to be here long enough to get on my bad side. So we would not blame you for that. Anyway, to wrap up the recruiting report, 2017 defensive end Malik Herring of Forsyth, Georgia, has Clemson in his top 8, along with Tennessee, Florida State, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, LSU, Ole Miss. 2017 receiver Jerry Jeudy, Deerfield Beach, Florida, has USC and Clemson in his current top 10. Others are Alabama, Auburn, Florida, Florida State, Georgia, Ohio State, Tennessee, West Virginia. According to NinerReport.com, that's right, Charlotte has a website dedicated to it. The 49ers picked up commitments from defensive end Johnny Ray of Wando and defensive end Jamar Winston of Hutchinson Junior College, Kansas, and Dutch Fork High School. I remember Winston a couple of years ago in high school. He is a huge guy. I think Clemson looked at him for a little bit, and maybe South Carolina did too, but he had to go to junior college, and now he's coming back and going to Charlotte. Linebacker Ja'Cory Morris of Grove Hill, Alabama, has been committed to USC since August, but doesn't know if he figures into the plans of the new coaching staff, as Coach told us yesterday. Coach Keith Kelly said he talked Tuesday with former Gamecock linebackers coach Kirk Botkin, who recruited Morris to USC in an effort to reach Will Muschamp, but to no avail as of yesterday. Said they haven't heard from them at all, and that he turned down Ole Miss and Southern Miss to come to USC, so he's hoping they'll respect his scholarship. He's hopeful that he and Morris will soon hear from USC so they can know in which direction they should move. Morris has not scheduled any official visits. And USC offered defensive lineman DeAndre Christmas Giles of New Orleans. He just decommitted from Tennessee. And Florida also jumped in with an offer. Apparently he's a big timer. USC also offered defensive end Joshua Uche, 6'2", 212 of Miami. Some of his other offers are Florida, Miami, Auburn, Alabama, and North Carolina. There you go with recruiting. Our little gift to you every night, especially during the holiday season. And we'll be back, 800-956-7266, the number. All right, coming up on Sports Talk, Clemson defensive coordinator Brent Venables, and we're brought to you by Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 college savings plan. Future Scholar, smart and easy way to save for a loved one's future college costs. And the holidays, a perfect time to invest. Visit futurescholar.com for more information. Future Scholar is administered by the Office of State Treasurer Curtis Loftus. As a public service, let me update what is being featured on ESPN right now tonight. On one channel, we have bowling, and on the other channel, we have women's volleyball. So pretty exciting stuff happening on the leader in sports.
Don't spoil it. I'm DVR in the bowling.
Well, I didn't tell you who was winning. But let me just say Earl Anthony is red hot tonight. Red hot. You know, and people question whether or not stock car drivers are athletes, are bowlers athletes. Come on. These guys look like they just walked out of their office, put on a psychedelic-looking shirt and some colorful pants, and out there rolling a big ball. But I will say this, in my next sports life, once I give up the dream of golf and finally, you know, breaking 70 in golf inside of 18 holes, bowling is what I will take up because it can't be harder than golf.
You can join the senior bowling tour.
Well, you have to be a senior to do that. I'm not. You know,
I think you're already there.
I will not be a senior. A senior is that's a state of mind. That's not a being. That's a state of mind. I will not accept any, despite whatever age I happen to be, if I'm qualified because of my age, I will not accept any discounts.
But what if you could be the Chichi Rodriguez of the senior bowling tour?
Again, you use that word that I don't acknowledge. But it seems to me about bowling, there's a couple of things that stand out. Number one, the ball comes back to you. That's a good thing, unlike golf. And number two, it's a big old ball. And number three, those pins aren't moving. They're right there in front of you. What's the distance
I've had a few
from
golf balls returned to me?
What's the difference from the toe line to the pins? Do you know?
About 3 seconds, 4 seconds of bowler. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, I think I could be a good bowler. I don't think it would be that difficult.
We should have a tournament, see who's the best.
I think we should. In the meantime, speaking of bowling, Clemson is going bowling, kind of, sort of. It's not the old-fashioned kind of bowl. You don't want to be in that kind of bowl anymore. You want to be in Clemson's in the Orange Bowl, but, you know, that's just the old name. It's the national semifinal game against Oklahoma. Brent Venables talked with the media today after practice, and, of course, first time he's met with the media this week since they've gotten back to practice, and he talked about, you know, getting back in the swing of things after the defense and the players being away for a few days.
I think that the a little bit of time off helped our guys. I think it came out a great time. We needed it. But what an incredible season, and take a few days to reflect on that, and then what we got to do moving forward and in the matchup and those types of things, and getting back to some fundamentals as well. Point out some of the things that we haven't done so well in the last few weeks, because that'll be all over the scouting report, and see if we can get a little bit better at it.
Was this season more fun for you in a way, and that, you know, it wasn't Vic and Grady and those guys you knew about? There was, for all the questions you had coming in, so many of them were answered in the affirmative.
I think in some ways, yes. Last year's group was so fun to be a part of, because they just loved every aspect of the grind and the preparation and competing. And every year is different. I mean, this year we don't have as many older guys or as many experienced guys. So sometimes along with that, you don't have quite the same level of maturity as well. But this group is special in its own right, and has what they've accomplished is tremendous. And then moving forward, you know, hopefully it's really important to them to have an incredible legacy here, because that's what they have the opportunity to do.
I know last year you said
it yet,
go ahead.
But Shaq Lawson's going to be on a regional cover of Sports Illustrated. Just from where that kid came, and this is the third time the Clemson player's on SI. I mean, how big of a deal is it for the program and really for Shaq? I mean, it's got to be a pretty cool thing for one of your players.
You know, I mean, obviously it's awesome for Shaq, and a little bit of a lightly recruited young man. I remember when we signed him, and we didn't get somebody else that had been we thought we were going to get, and Coach Sweeney called it in the locker room, says, you know, it don't matter because we got Shaq Lawson. And to see him develop and and have the kind of success he has is neat. Part of that success and being, a successful team is being recognized nationally. And so good for him. I'm not really, I didn't know, and that'll probably be the last I talk about it. Hopefully we got some reason to kind of hang it up, put it in a picture frame and hang it up and maybe ask him to sign it. But for now, it's kind of Zoom focus.
Before you started sinking your teeth into the matchup, like going back to when you saw that matchup pop up on the Jumbotron, your immediate, was it like good grief?
Are you serious? And then that was it. And then it'll work.
Yeah.
So.
But you're so focused during the game. I mean, was there a moment last year that maybe pregame or postgame you just looked across and you're like, all right, that's Oklahoma on the other sideline. Maybe that's when it hit home?
Near the end, At the beginning, I guess, maybe beforehand, seeing everybody. But, near the end, you can go over, shake hands and that kind of thing. So it's part of the profession. You have to do that. But those guys have meant a lot to me and my family through the years. But, like you said, we know what's at stake. So we've got a great stage to play on against a great program like Oklahoma.
Difference with having Mayfield back there. I mean, obviously he brings a lot of different things, but maybe some things that we don't see on tape.
Again, I think his will to win. I think he makes everybody better around him. I would say those are necessarily differences because I think Trevor Knight, had incredible success himself, and so did their team. And but you see his competitiveness, and they got a lot of juice to him. Not real long, but plays big and plays strong, and got a really good arm, and he's got great poise, and he's got a good group of players around him. It's not just him. They got a good defense, they got a good kicking game, and they got good players around them on offense too. So they've recruited well.
Coach Sweeney talked the other day about how these bowl practices help develop talent guys for next year. Who are some players you're working with right now to try to get them up?
Anybody that isn't playing right now. I mean, it's really. We'll start scrimmaging with those guys, I think, maybe tomorrow some. And so that's kind of when you see who's the players. But we're a young team. I think we're the third youngest team in America. So it's a long list of players that you're talking about. And, we're getting ready to add, a number more to that group. So, but it's all the young guys that really either aren't playing much or are redshirting.
And how important is this?
Well, I think it's a great advantage to have played this long and to have this opportunity, a few more cracks at developing a foundation of fundamentals and work ethic and toughness. And, usually this time is the first time since fall camp that you've been able to give some of those guys a little bit more special attention. And for obvious reasons, you're trying to get other guys ready to go. So it's good to get back to the basics leading into winter conditioning.
How much this may seem obvious, but how good is it to have an offense that, if you stop them a couple of times, you stop your opponent a couple of times, they can extend the score, or if there's a breakdown, there's a pretty strong chance that your offense can get it.
Yeah, it's a big plus, to say the least. To know that they can compliment us when we're not at our best, or something bad happens, or vice versa. I think the really good teams find a way to complement one another, help each other out in those situations. And with the flow of a game, you sense when, hey, we got to get something done here. We got to get a stop. We got to get a turnover. We got to create some field position, or again, they need to score points. So they've been really good this year, and they've only gotten better and better. It's been a fun to watch from the other side of the field. To see that, that players evolve and come together. And again, really it's, see those guys, battle and go week in and week out against each other. And then to see them have the kind of success on game day, it allows you to be, aggressive and, those types of things.
Brent Venables, who's done another fabulous job, maybe even a better job this year than last year, considering the players he had to replace. And this defense really hasn't skipped a beat. Yeah, talking about Brent Venables and the job that he has done this year, you look at the numbers nationally for this Clemson defense, and again, they're just off the charts. They are among the best in the country in several key components on the defensive side. And it's pretty amazing considering the players they lost off of last year's team. Of course, kind of knew Shaq Lawson was going to be good, kind of knew Alexander was going to be good, kind of knew that Curse was going to be good. They've gotten very good play inside. Kevin Dodd's been a surprise the way he's developed to a quality player. They've gotten by. They're two linebackers, even though you heard Dabo really praise Goodson, and Goodson's given them a good year, and Boulware is just a guy that makes plays. I don't know that people think that their linebackers are exceptional linebackers, but they're good enough for what they do in their defense. But going into this game, Clemson is number 1 in the country in third down conversion defense, number 2 in completion percentage, number 1 in, let's see, wait a minute, number 2, I'm sorry, that's offense. Number 2 in completion percentage for the offense. That's not what I'm looking for. Defense. First down defense, they're number 1 in the country. And let's see, passing yards allowed, they're number 4 in the country. Where else do they stand out? Team passing efficiency defense, number 4 in the country. Team tackles for loss, number 3 in the country. Total defense, number 7. I mean, just a very solid defense. They've had some moments, obviously. They've had some moments where they've given up some big plays, where their fits weren't right, where guys didn't hit the gaps exactly right. And it's resulted in some good players making some big plays. But by and large, teams getting into the red zone against them have had their problems. Their red zone defense, 59th in the country in red zone defense, 6th in the ACC. So that tells me that most of the points that they've given up, I guess they have given up at 59th in the country. That's about middle of the pack. So they've given up some points in the red zone, but they haven't given up that many points to speak of. Let's see. In points allowed, let's see here. Points allowed. Defense points allowed. Where is that on this list? They haven't given up that many points, so they're going to be ranked pretty high in that category as well. Scoring offense, scoring defense. Yeah, they're 17th in scoring defense at 18.8. So I guess they have allowed teams to score inside the red zone. Now, this doesn't break it down, field goals versus touchdowns. It's hard to drive the ball in this Clemson defense. Teams that have had some success have done so with some big plays. I mean, Florida State did. Notre Dame, as I recall, did. And Notre Dame was one of the few teams to really kind of have the edge. Notre Dame's offense did have the edge over Clemson's defense in the second half after Clemson built that big lead in the first half. It's one of the few halves of football where Clemson's defense gave it up a little bit. And North Carolina had some success, but Clemson was able to build enough of a lead there to hang on at the end. When we come back, our good friend Rick Callahan, assistant coach in basketball at Monmouth. Monmouth, the talk of college basketball, coming up.
Gary Gilmore was about to enter the center of a maelstrom.
You know, the USC basketball team on the men's side, one of only 8 undefeated men's teams left in the country. So there's a bit of a buzz about the Gamecocks breaking into the poll this week on the coaches' side at number 25, at least around here. But the team that has captured the imagination of the country, thank you, ESPN, for giving them a lot of airtime and a lot of hype, and justifiably so, is Monmouth. That's right, Monmouth, M-O-N-M-O-U-T-H, of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. Head coach is King Rice, but key assistant sitting right next to him is our old buddy, very popular sports talk show host in the Midlands at one time in his career, former USC assistant coach Rick Callahan. Man, oh man, you're setting the world on fire.
How are you, Gordon? It's great to talk to you.
Same here. Same here. Good to hear from you, and congratulations. Before we talk about all the bench antics and that stuff that's really made you popular, let's talk about the team on the court, because you've beaten Notre Dame. You have beaten Southern Cal. You have beaten Georgetown. And you've got some other wins. Great start.
UCLA.
Oh, yeah. You've beaten UCLA. So tell us about this team.
This team, right from the beginning, has been just a joy to coach. Right from the beginning, actually, most of the players on the team went to China. So we went to China in May and June. That was a phenomenal trip. We were there for 15 days, and I think obviously that's helped us a tremendous amount. And then since we started practice and when we started our individual workouts, it's been one of the most unselfish teams I've ever coached in terms of sharing the ball. We've got a lot of good players. We're awful deep. We've got we're probably 9 or 10, 11 deep, and you know, we run a lot. Everybody's accepted their roles so far, and that's been awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody understands what our goal is and what we're trying to accomplish, and nobody's really getting too excited about lack of minutes or lack of a certain role, and they've all accepted it, and they've been very unselfish with the basketball, and every game we've gotten better defensively, and it's a fun team to coach. It's a fun team to be around. And it's just it's been great. I can't say anything more about it. It's been awesome.
Well, you were telling me, you know, in recent years, as you guys struggled to get wins, you said just give it time because you're getting some players. And I noticed in recruiting, you started to get, you know, better and better talent. And I mean, let's face it, that's what makes the world go round in any sport. So you must feel like you guys have compiled some pretty good talent over the past couple of years.
We've been very lucky, and I think changing leagues, you know, when we first arrived here at Monmouth, we were in the Northeast Conference and for 2 years, and then we moved up a level and went to the Metro Atlantic Conference. And I think that, you know, that's helped us recruit a lot. We've got a very beautiful school here. Got a heck of arena to play in. We've got a 5,000-seat arena. It's brand new. It's 6 years old, and the campus is gorgeous, right on the ocean, about hour south of New York. And so it's been fun, and it's been a lot of work, and it hasn't been without a whole lot of support. We've had actually President Gaffney, who's now residing in Columbia. His daughter was a Gamecock and graduated from the University of South Carolina. President Gaffney was a retired admiral in the Navy who's now living in the Vista. And, you know, he was very instrumental and very supportive of hiring King Rice here at Monmouth. And I came here with King. And in addition to that, Marilyn McNeil, our athletic director, who's been here 25 years. And, you know, Marilyn did something that was unheard of in all of my 36 years of coaching, is she renewed King Rice and our staff after 3 straight 20-loss seasons. And we were going into our 4th year of a 5-year contract after losing 20 losses 3 years in a row, and renewed it and extended us for 3 more years in addition to the 2 we had. That does not happen in today's world of high pressure college athletics, because of what she saw and because of the things that we changed academically and the culture that we changed. Without that, I'm not sure we would be where we're at today. I'm convinced we're not sure we'd be where we're at today. And it's her support and President Gaffney's support that's really made this happen.
Is this team built for an NCAA tournament run? I mean, to get into the tournament, is it built to get there? Can it get there?
It can get there. It'll be very difficult. You got to understand traditionally, the MAC has been traditionally a one bid league. Three or four times in its history, it's had two teams get in. Iona and Manhattan has dominated the league. Siena is very good this year. Iona's still very good. So it'll be very interesting to see how the year progresses. I think certainly we've done what we've had to do in terms of our non-conference, but also now we've got to see and hope that the teams that we have beaten, the UCLAs, the Georgetowns, Notre Dames, hopefully they will continue to have good years moving forward, and those wins will look much more impressive when it comes time to March. It's certainly very early to even talk about it. We shouldn't even talk about it. I remember sitting and talking to you in February a few years, and people would talk about the seeds and who's in and who's out. You can't even decide and talk about it in February because you still got 3 games in tournaments. You still got 2 or 3 games left at the end of the year. Those are 7 games. That's almost a third of your season. So there's a lot of basketball to be played, and it's been a great run, and it's been a lot of fun. And obviously it's been great for Monmouth University, and it's been great for the whole community here, and they've embraced it. And it's been a ton of fun, to be quite honest with you.
Absolutely. All right. The stuff on the bench that's caught everybody's imagination. How did that start? Obviously, the coaches had to sign off on it. These guys are having a great time, and they're deflecting a lot of attention away from the court to them, which is fine if everybody's happy about it. How did all that get started?
Phil, for the life of me, we don't know. And the coaches didn't sign off on it. It just kind of occurred. They started doing it a little bit when we were out at UCLA in Southern California. Then we went to Orlando, and we were at the ESPN tournament in Orlando, which was great for us, from a basketball standpoint. And it just kind of took a life of its own. And I remember my brother called me after Thanksgiving on Sunday night and said, "Ricky, when did it start?" And I said, "John, I don't know." He said, "Ricky, what did they do?" And I said, "John, I don't know. I don't look down there. I don't know what they're doing down there." And it's taken a complete life of its own. It's gone viral. And today's age of social media, it's just amazing to me. Saturday morning, they're going over to New York and going to be on Good Morning America Saturday morning. It's just they're bright kids. They're fun to be around. And let me say this, everybody thinks it's the bench, and I don't want it to be those kids can play.
Yeah.
Those kids are very instrumental in practice. They work very hard. They're excellent players. One of them happens to be a scholarship player, but just can't play right now. And they work very hard in practice. So I don't want any of this to take away from they are good players, and they help us win games every single day in practice.
So, I mean, as a game is going on, and you and King and the other coaches, you're watching the game. Do you hear the fan? Do you notice the fans?
Boy, I don't even know what they're doing down there. I really don't.
You have no clue. I mean,
no clue. Other than after the game, I've got friends who text me and put it on Twitter. Occasionally I'll see it on SportsCenter, or I'll see it on different sports shows. I really don't know, and I know they're very creative. I know they're very bright young men. Now I will say this: it's kind of put a bullseye on their back, so to speak, because wherever we go on the road, you've got people behind the bench kind of yelling and screaming at them. When we went up to Canisius, they had their whole baseball team behind their bench screaming and yelling at the guys on the bench. So it's been fun. It's been great. And, to Coach Grice's credit, he's allowed those kids to kind of, have fun with it. And as long as it doesn't get out of hand, and, and we really anticipated somebody trying to say they can't do this or they can't do that, but that hasn't occurred yet. And it's just good-natured fun, and 4 kids who are just having a lot of fun, who are very creative.
All right, hang on, Coach. Going to hold you over through this brief break. You know how commercial breaks go. So hang on for just a second. We'll come back more with Rick Callahan from Monmouth in a moment. Back on Sports Talk, Phil Kornblut in downtown Columbia. Eric Lamaris behind the bulletproof glass. And on the phone with us, Rick Callahan, who used to own the airwaves in the Palmetto States back in the day. Boy, could he stir up some controversy. It's amazing, though, what Sports Talk has done for the career of unemployed coaches. I just think about all of you who've come through our doors only to find your way back to the bench or the sideline in one form or another.
Hey, Corn, I was very impressed that you were able to pronounce Monmouth and get it right. I was really impressed. That was pretty good.
I've been practicing. I have been practicing. So one more thing about the bench guys. Is there a guy that's a leader and a guy that designs the antics?
Well, it's interesting. They have people now sending them ideas, and they come up with different skits for some reason. However they do it, I'm not quite sure how they do it. And Dan Polari and Greg Nowak are the two who are kind of the guys behind it, and the other two guys have been involved in it as well. Tyler Robinson, who's the brother of Justin Robinson, our all-conference guard from last year. And so it's been a lot of fun to watch those kids, and they're enjoying it, and it hasn't been too much of a distraction, and it's just been great for the school. It's been great for the community, and it's amazing to me in this day of social media how something like that can take off.
Yeah. Now, let's hope this doesn't happen, but let's just say, you guys are winning, and when you're winning, everything is good and everything is acceptable. The cheerleaders are prettier. The arena's more, more beautiful. The fight song sounds better. You know that. Let's say you get a losing skid. Would they still be tolerant of the guys acting up like that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's going to be tempered because you don't have as many things to get excited about. If you're losing, obviously, let's not forget it's about winning, and it's about the guys on the floor, and it's what they do on the floor that's inspired the guys on the bench to do what they do. So obviously, if you're not winning and you don't have good plays, how much can you get excited about losing?
But you made a good point too. There's pressure on these guys to come up with something creative now every game, because wherever you guys travel, the fans are expecting to see something funny from them throughout the game.
I don't even know where they got the Sistine Chapel from the other night. And then the thing I know, I come home late at night, and it's all over Sports Center. I have no clue where they come from.
Well, look, you're lucky. You're up in the Northeast. Sports Center has kind of adopted these guys, and they're going to show everything that they do, so that gives you a lot of publicity. Let me ask you, basketball-wise, here in South Carolina, the Gamecocks, your old stomping grounds, they're 9-0, their best start since 1970. They go for 10 in a row at Clemson tomorrow night. So Frank Martin's got a little bit of a buzz going with his program right now. What do you think about from afar? Yet I know you still have your contacts here. What do you think about what's happening under his watch?
I've known Frank Martin for a long time, almost 30 years. He's an excellent basketball coach. He coaches with a tremendous amount of emotion, a tremendous amount of enthusiasm. If the people in Columbia and the state of South Carolina will give Frank time, there's no doubt in my mind he will be very, very successful and get that program turned around. People have to remember, it takes time. It doesn't get changed in 3 years, 4 years. It's taken us 5 years here. If they get patient with Frank, he'll get good players. He's an excellent recruiter. He's recruited well everywhere he's ever been. He's on top of being a great recruiter, he might be a better basketball coach. And he really cares about those kids, and he takes good care of them. He works hard, and he will get that turned around. I'm excited for him. I think it's awesome. I'm excited for the people in the state of South Carolina. And I just think it's Frank's doing a tremendous job, and just be patient with him, and he'll get back to where everybody and all the Gamecocks want it to be.
Well, I mean, you guys there for a couple of years, you had it at a very high level, back-to-back NCAA tournament appearances. You know how tough it is in a place like South Carolina, in a place like Clemson. You know how tough it is just to get to the tournament. It's
very difficult, let alone, and then when you start talking about the SEC and the ACC are arguably two of the best leagues in the country, and they've expanded and they've added very good teams, and makes it even more difficult than maybe when Coach Folger and I were there.
Well, listen, it's always great talking to you, and thank you for joining us. Congratulations on the season, and let's hope that what happens on the court dominates the conversation for Monmouth, and what happens on the bench is kind of a little bit of a sideshow, which is fine, but the winning is what we're talking about.
I agree with you, and let me just say this to everybody in Columbia. My thoughts and prayers have been with you. I've talked to a lot of people. I know it's been a really, really hard time with the floods. I just want everybody to know I support you, and I've been thinking about you, and I've been praying for everybody, and just hope you have a speedy recovery, and where Columbia's been.
Coach, we thank you very much. Hope to see you soon.
Thanks, Gordon.
Thank you. Thank you. Talk to you again. Rick Callahan, good friend of ours, former USC assistant, now an assistant in Monmouth, and truly Monmouth, one of the big stories in college basketball thus far. Back in a moment. And thanks again to Rick Callahan for being with us tonight. Let's welcome in Bob Ibach, our buddy from Chicago, former sports writer, former publicist with the Chicago Cubs over many of those lean years. Man, now they're good. You got to be sick that you're not there with them.
Yeah, you know what? You don't want to miss out on the phone. We got close in 84 and 89, but didn't get it done. We got within 5 outs of going to the World Series in 84, Phil.
Yeah, I remember so well. Hey, good to have you back with us. We've only got a couple of minutes, but update us on the football sales from a Clemson standpoint. How's it going?
It's going great. I know we were on the other night. We kind of kicked things off on your show. We've sold about almost 40 to 50% of the 5,000 footballs that Wilson's made to celebrate Clemson being in the college football playoffs for the first time. It's benefiting that charity Extra Yard for Teachers. It's going to get a lot of cool things funded for school teachers throughout South Carolina. And comes with a display case, a nice acrylic display case. It's just $99. And in a moment, I'll give out a toll-free number and a website how folks can get this and also use it as a Christmas gift idea. And I do want to point that out because if you're like me, shopping around the last few minutes, you're going to want to maybe consider this for a Clemson fan. What you'll get on the football, it's full size. You'll have the official college football playoff logo. You'll have the Orange Bowl logo on there with all kind of information about the Tigers season, including their 13-0 record, their ACC title win over North Carolina, all listed game by game with the scores, the opponents, all on one panel. It's a great way to recap the season. We'll also continue to update it during the playoffs, of course, on the semifinal game and hopefully the championship game. Another panel has some stadium history on it, some of the Tigers titles that they've won over the years, and it commemorates the only national football championship won in 1981 over Nebraska, right next to a really bright Tiger orange paw. So you get these for $99. Only 5,000 will ever be made with the display case. You can call this evening, 1-800-345-2868. Again, that's toll free, 1-800-345-2868, or simply go to NICOsports.com, NIKCO sports.com. And Phil, when you go there, you can download instantly a picture of the Clemson football, a gift card, and if you're like me, you want to go out and do your Christmas shopping right on the internet, you can download it right there. Use it, put it under the Christmas tree, put it in the stocking, and the football will be sent to that Clemson fan 6 weeks after the Tigers play their final game. And I'm hoping that's January the 11th because that means they're in the championship.
Hey, that sounds great. And listen, check back with us maybe after Christmas. We'll talk more about it and continue to follow along as these things sell for you.
Absolutely, Phil. Our goal is to sell out all 5,000, raise a lot of money for school teachers throughout South Carolina.
Hey, that sounds great. Hey, Bob, thank you so much. Enjoy the holiday. We'll talk to you again soon. Bob Ibach. Thank you, Bob. All right, that'll do it for tonight. Tomorrow night from Greenville, we'll be at the Well, Clemson and South Carolina basketball. Among our interviews tomorrow night, Will Muschamp will be with us, and we'll have stuff from the arena, of course, and other good things to share with you. So make plans to be with us. Thank you, Eric the G. And everybody have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow here on Sports Talk.